Hello guys, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. I just want to do a quick review for you, and it should be quite a quick one, but it's a very different one, and quite honestly I don't really know why I bought it. But if you know, I did a review the other day on the lovely 1/72 scale Akagi island and flight deck. At the same time, from Hannants, I bought this kit, which is underneath this cutting mat, and it's very unusual, but just something just drew me to it, and I put it on pre-order, and here it is. It's the USS ABSD-1 Large Auxiliary Floating Dry Dock, and this thing is absolutely huge. It's 1/350th scale. It's 778 millimeters long, which is massive. And basically, it's a floating dry dock that is capable of lifting 90,000 tons. Now, I've been looking at a little bit of history on it, and I can't remember a lot, to be honest. There's lots of bits and pieces about it, and you can read. It's got quite an interesting history, actually, because it was sort of signed off and then recommissioned, then signed off and recommissioned, and bits of it still exist today. Well, they did a couple of years ago. But yeah, it's basically a floating dry dock made up of 10 pieces, as you can see here. It keeps going on about 9 pieces, but the model seems to be made up of 10 pieces. It has these huge cranes on it. It has these gantries across for the walkways. You can see the huge cranes there. There's one at each end. It's got these little blocks here, which are obviously control rooms or whatever. But basically, they would sink this whole thing, and then they would sort of drive the ship into it and then raise it, and it was floating dry dock. And there are actual images of this very dry dock with Iowa in there, and it would make an absolutely beautiful diorama, because from the wording, I mean, you'll have to look into it a bit deeper obviously if you're going to build it, but from the wording it would appear that Iowa was painted from her dazzle scheme to her grey scheme while she was in here. So one side of her, it looks like her port side is in dazzle and her other side is in grey. They're repainting it, so that it could be a really interesting little diorama. And for those of you that enjoy weathering, especially weathering in the smaller scales, you can imagine all of this here. You'd have all sorts of, you know, muck and rust and all sorts all over it, because this thing gets sunken into the water. There's also pictures of this holding multiple ships, you know. There's one there with a heavy cruiser in the middle, and then 2 Fletcher class either side, and they're all being worked on. They're all just sat there. It's absolutely incredible. But anyway, as a kit, it's a detailed static plastic model. You've got PE parts included. Obviously, it's got one type of marking because there's only one type of it. Lots and lots of photo etch, and I have had a look in here. The photo etch looks very nice. It's very nice for kit photo etch. As we all know, it all tends to be, kit photo etch tends to be a little bit thick and chunky, but this is really nice. Looking around the box, this thing weighs a ton. Okay, it weighs, it's about 2 kilos, I think. It's very heavy. So you can see on the side here we have a colour image of the ship. It didn't arrive in wonderful condition. It was beautifully packed by Hannants, but it looks like, you know, I mean, the box lid is way too big for the base, and it kind of looks like it had a hard time getting here. But anyway, the kit's absolutely fine. Well, there's a little bit of damage I'll show you now, but that's unavoidable, I think. So you can see you've got the colour image of it with the light grey on the top, we've got the blue grey on the bottom, and then it's going to be all grey inside. You've got these 2 big cranes either end. This is all made of photo etch. There's lots and lots of photo etch in here. Something that I do find very strange, the kit number is 6006. It says here 2022 TACOM, as you can see. But let me turn this light out a minute, stop all this reflectivity. It says here 2022 TACOM, but it's a new release. I don't get that. You know, Hannants had it as a pre-order, and it's, you know, it's only just come in last week, so very strange. End of the box is basically the same thing. You can see it's come from Bachmann Europe, and then on the side of the box here, typical TACOM, we've got the sprue layout. So you've got 10 of those, you've got 10 of those, you've got 10 of those, and 2 of those. You've got all this photo etch on a decal sheet. So not many moulds involved in making this. 1, 2, 3, 4 moulds. So it's not a sort of cost intensive model to make, but quite labour intensive to make. And then here we got a choice of some other. Tack can do some really interesting, weird things. I mean, you've got these Zeppelin class airships. We've got the flak tower here, and the flak tower Heiligenstein. Yeah, okay. So yeah, all in 350th scale. So very interesting. As I say, it weighs an absolute ton. It kind of feels like if you had a block of softwood this size, it weighs about the same. It's very weighty. So you can see in here we've got lots and lots of plastic, obviously because of all the weight. So we've got a bag here of 10 of these sprues, and then all the, you can see these tiny little parts. Let's get the light back on. We'll have a look at these sprues in close up in a second. And then we've got 2 of these sprues here. These are for those end pieces. Again, we've got photo etch for them. We've got 10 of these sprues here, and these weigh a ton. And these are the top of the sort of pontoons, and then you've got the sides here of the actual bridge. Apparently they could fold over when they were towed to reduce the drag, so they'd be more stable in the water, to reduce the sort of wind resistance, you know. So very interesting. We've got instructions there with all the PE in. So, and then also over here we've got the 10 pontoons, if you like, in there. More about them in a second. So let's do my usual thing, what I do in reviews, and we'll have a look at the instructions and the PE and everything. So we've got instructions, decals and PE here. So I'm going to try and get these out without having the glue inflicted. There we go. So we've got all that PE which we can have a look at in a minute. But we'll start off by having a look at the instructions. I'm going to zoom you in a bit because we're zoomed out for the big box. So we can see here we have our instructions, and you can see there's some words. There's some words you can read all about it. There you go. She was commissioned on May the 10th, 1943 in Everett, Washington. She was 927 feet long, 256 feet wide, 28 feet high, had a displacement of 38,000 tons and could lift 90,000 tons and carry 690 men. So incredible, really. But they even put aircraft carriers in these things, apparently. But I couldn't find any actual photos or any, literature saying they actually did, but apparently they could. So interesting. That would be an interesting little dial, wouldn't it? With the battleships, they had to remove all the ammunition and the fuel to get there because they had such a deep draft. So they had to get them up in the water a bit, so they could actually get in, and then this would go in and raise it. Something I never know, and if anybody in the comments below or anybody actually knows how it worked, if they can tell me, whenever you see ships in dry dock, they always are sat on blocks. So I could kind of understand in a normal dry dock, they know the plan of the hull. They can lay out the blocks and everything, and then flood the dock, bring the ship in. But with this, how did they do it? Did they do it the same? Did they know where the ship was going to be so they could put all the keel blocks in and everything? Or did they send divers down in there? I'd love to know. Anyway, so typical tackle instructions. Here we have all the caution and the paints required. There's only 3 colours there. Check your references. Don't believe a word of this. Because for one, I know that they sort of, the nearest colour will do sort of thing. And 2, they're often incorrect. So make sure you check your references. Here how to remove PE, and here's how to apply decals and everything. And then here we got our sprue layout, which is very, very simple indeed. In fact, I'm going to turn this light up again because it's causing issues. So we've got the sprue layout here. So we've got 10 of those, 10 of those, 10 of those, 2 of those. And we've got our decal and all our 5 sheets of photo etch there. So we're starting off by building the uprights, which are the walls. You can see they're basically going together with the 6 sides. So that's all very simple, and you're going to make 10 of those. Sorry, you make 20 of those. That's also not at all repetitive. So for those that hate doing tracks, I don't think this is a model for you. And then you got 20 of these What are they, 20mm Oerlikons? I'm not. They look like Oerlikons, don't they? But they've got guns there, so they had some defence. Of course, they had the defence of the guns on the ship in it as well, I suppose, if they were operational. And then here we've got lots of bits of pipe work and everything. Remember, this thing was all about flooding and then draining and pumping air in and out, so there's going to be lots of plumbing and piping and all that sort of thing. You can see on the sides here, I've just noticed something. These sides here, I thought they were like doors for letting water out fast, but they're not. They're actually gun emplacements. So when the sides folded down, they could put the guns there, because that's what that is there. Look, it's a gun emplacement. So they could obviously lift the guns up and put them on the sides. So here we have the other thing I don't know about this. They talk about, if you look online, they had machine shops, they had restaurants, obviously sleeping quarters and everything. Where were they? They can't have been in these side pieces because they were flooded, unless they were in the tops of them, I suppose. But then if they folded them over, how did they manage? Maybe they slept down in here. I don't know. I would love to know if anybody knows. I would love to buy a book on the subject because I find it quite fascinating, really. They took it so many miles away, so they had dry dock facilities sort of at the war, wherever they were, rather than having to come back the thousands of miles to come back to Pearl Harbor or whatever. You can see here adding the main deck to the little sponsons, the little pontoon, sorry, and we've got photo etch railing going on. Probably not a good idea to fit that at this point. And then we've got these walls here going on. It does kind of look as though they're designed to clip on rather than have to glue them, because they've got like a hexagonal bit there, which I'll show you in a minute. And then going over the page, fitting more of those. So I don't really understand what's going on here, but you've got AB and AB, and I can't see a difference in it. These are all the same. There's 10 of those, and there's 10 bases, so I don't see why they're doing this alternate assembly. Making 8 of those and then 2 of those. I guess these are the ends. Whatever. And then here we're bringing it all together. We've got these parts here, C4. I'm not sure if they interlock or whatever. We'll have a look in a minute when we look at the plastic parts. Bringing it all together, so you have this one big long piece. I guess you could, if you wanted to do a diorama of this being towed or being assembled, you could have a couple back here with their sides folded down, and then you could have a couple attached together, and then you could have sort of 4 attached together here with men working on it, whatever. It would, it's a wonderful, if you've got one of the new Iowa kits, is it Verifier? There's another couple of companies in there in China making some beautiful Iowa class ships at the moment. You could put one of them in it. We've got the ends there with the photo etch piece on there. You can see on the box front, that's that sort of pontoon bit sticking out at the end with that railing or that work on it there. So very, very nice indeed. It's going to look lovely when it's done, but I don't think I should ever build it, to be honest. I just really, really fancied it. So we have now lots and lots of photo etch. We are like in Pontos territory now. We've got all these boxes here, all these little rooms. They're made from photo etch, and you can see they're going all the way along. We've got supports all the way along here. These here, they're going in there, and there's lots of little steps, platforms. You can see we've got platforms going here. We've got ladders going here. We've got railings going on the inside there. We've got catwalks, and then you're fitting all the railings to the ladders here. Okay, so you've added the platforms here, and then you're adding the railings, the steps and everything. And then we've got photo etch boxes. It's going to look absolutely fantastic because it's going to be plastered in photo etch. I mean, some people will say this kit is overpriced. I think, was it £130, I think? But when you actually look at the cost of a Pontos set and a ship, in 350 scale, comparatively, this is a bargain. For the amount of photo etch you're getting and the amount of plastic you're getting, it is a bargain, really. It's just, I guess, the subject won't be very popular. But all very, very nice. And then here we've got yet more photo etch going on. We've got steps and more platforms, more railings, more ladders and steps, and more vertical sort of uprights, whatever you call them, frameworks. We've got all these boxes going on the side of those little rooms. You could have men in them. You could, you have to paint the inside of them, I guess. But be a lot of soldering to do. I know that. And then you've got these PE strips going in. I guess they're the joining strips to fill in the gap. And then here we're going to build up our main crane. So you can see we've got the actual base there. It looks like that is, yeah, it looks like that is turned upside down. So you've got the base there with the platform in there for maintenance, and then we've got the round table going on there. We've got all the rails, the cars. You know, there's going to be rails going along the sides of here. It's all plastic, and you've got the main body and all the bits and pieces, all the windows and everything. It's all photo etch. So quite incredible. All of this is photo etch. Look, all of it. It's just incredible. And you've got TPC 10. You're going to drill a hole, and you're not going to use any cement. But I'm not quite sure what that is pointing out. Let me have a look a minute. Alright, so that was about as clear as mud. So basically this TPC 10 is a piece of photo etch, and it's there. Okay, so it's a template. And basically that is going over the ends here. So this is the view looking down from the top here. Okay, and they're telling you to remove this bit of plastic from the actual track at the end, which is what the crane goes along. And then you're going to put this template on and drill. So obviously with this one you're going to have it turned over. But that is referring to this one here. So you're going to remove that bit of track there and drill a hole. So you're going to drill one hole in there. And that is for the crane to go in. So that's what that is all about. So you really need to have a think about what you're doing there. So you're going to remove the track from the end one. There, and there, and then you're going to fit these. They're not cranes, are they? They're walkways for the blokes to get across to the other side. So there we are. And then finally we're going to fit our cranes. And we've got some, looks like ladders, but they're just grating bits there going across. We've got some here as well. So they're going to be all the way along. They're just like little joiners, I think, for the separate units. And then here we've got what looks like Tower Bridge in London, but you can see the colour call-outs. As I say, completely ignore this. Check your references. Look at what you're looking at, because these are often incorrect. So be very, very careful. And as I say, be very, very careful with the colours. They will often, men do the same. They will often just call out the colour closest to theirs. So because Takom are now, using ammo for their colours, this in here would have been like a dark grey or whatever. The closest colour in the ammo range is that one. This colour here, ocean green, they're calling this, BS629. This wouldn't have been painted in a BS colour. And then here we got IJN medium grey. No, it's not Japanese, is it? It's probably very, very close, but just be very, very careful. I got caught out with that main chieftain, didn't I? The brown they called out was like a hull red. It was awful. So, decal sheet first of all, in a nice resealable bag. Thank you, Takom. It's nice they do this, because then if it does get damp in transit, or it's stored in a damp warehouse somewhere, the decals won't be affected. So you can see here we've got the all the different numbers. Now I don't know if there are 7 different ones of these, or if what you have are all of these a different number. Just have a look at the decal placement. Decal 2, that is your depth markings for when they sink it, and then decal 1. Yeah, AF, there must have been more than one then. I've seen an AFDB2, but maybe these numbers, again, check your research, but maybe these numbers were put onto different parts of the unit. But I thought they were called ABCD, like you got here, look. So no doubt they will be identifying them, but I don't know why they've got up to 7. I didn't realise that. I don't think they made 7 of these, did they? Surely. Why would they have made 7? But anyway, there we go. Decal sheet again, more confusion, instructions clear as mud, good old Takum. The instructions are actually not that bad, but you really do need to concentrate on what you're doing. I mean, you've got these tiny bits of photo etch. You've got a piece of photo etch there. Where's that going? Is that going on the inside or is it going on the outside? Because they're not showing it here at all. That you've got this folded up piece here, this sort of vertical lattice work, and they don't show you it. So it's there, look, but where is the ladder on the, I guess the ladder's on the outside. But yeah, it's yeah, the instructions are very, very difficult. Be a little bit careful. So photo etch, as I say, you can see it's very, very nice indeed. We've got some ladders there, and you can see they're really fine, or grills or catwalks or whatever they are. But they're really, really fine and beautifully done. As I say, Takum photo etch can be a little bit chunky, but this is really nice. It's almost like Pontos made it. In fact, looking at the size of the sheets, it may well be from Pontos. But it is very nice indeed. You can see all those little boxes there with the window frames, the tiny little window frames in there. We've got the doors. I don't know if we get separate photo etch doors, do we? Or maybe they didn't have doors, maybe they just open rooms. But very nice indeed. They're going to make up into lovely little rooms there with those lovely windows. So stick a bit of acetate inside there, just to, you know, add some reality, authenticity, should I say. And you've got these little platforms here. You can see there, I'll give you a close-up, there's a lot on there. We turn the light out because of the reflectivity. In fact, I have here a piece of black card. So that should make things a lot easier to see. A lot of repetitiveness, obviously, with a model like this. You're going to have countless things just repeated 10 times. So that's very nice. In fact, rather than using that black, why don't I use this green cutting mat? What I can do is place this photo etch on here. In fact, I can use this little one here, can't I? No, it's filthy. We can see on here, this is sheet D. So I think this is going to be the railings for the ends. You've got these boxes here that I was talking about, just talking about making those up. And it looks like those ladders there, probably going to go on the outside. It's, as I say, you're going to have to really do some reference work on this because those instructions ain't helping you at all. And there we go, you can see all that there. Again, lots of repetitiveness, obviously. And then here we've got fret A. We've got more ladders. Down here we have more railings. These are going to be going around the ends of the those little pontoons. And then here we've got doors. So do they have, no, they're just plain on the back. And we've got those discs there, whatever they may be, I don't know what they are. But very nice. And then here we have more of those catwalk type things. Are they catwalks or railings? I'm not sure. Got some. That's those grids that go in between the panels on top of the walls. And here we have some more ladders, some steps. Look at all those little look at all those little buttresses you got to stick on. Those little boxes are going to stick onto. Wow. And the railings here. Tons and tons of railings. Really, really nice. I reckon Kenneth might get one of these from Norwegian Scale Modeler. I reckon he might get one of these and put his Missouri in it. You can see there's the cranes, more gantries and stuff. That's the walkways going across. You wouldn't get me walking across there, no way. But there's the cranes there. We can see we've got the chain blocks and everything for the cranes. We've got more steps, more parts for the cranes, ladders, steps. Everything, more rooms. It's great, isn't it? Really, really nice. It's going to look incredible when it's done, as long as all the photo etch works. Because sometimes, as we know, some of the Chinese manufacturers, they kind of design this stuff on a CAD model, you know, and it's this big, and when it actually comes to making it work in photo etch, it just doesn't work. But I must say I'm very impressed by the look of the quality of the photo etch and how thin it is. Just to give you an idea, we'll peel back that sheet there, peel back that sheet there. I'll grab my digital calipers. 0.13, so that's 5 thou thick. So that's cool. Nice and thin. Going to be very nice to work with. Okay, so let's have a look at some plastic. So we'll start off with this bag here. Very resealable bags. We'll start off with this bag here. Now, obviously, we've got 10 of these screws. We'll get the light back on. I'm only going to get one out. Obviously, if we've got 10 of them, there's no point. I can't believe we don't have any damage by the look of it, but yeah, that's going to be the ends of our walls, I'm imagining. We've got these huge Z-pins on the back here to come off. Hopefully they haven't, where they're all stacked one on top of the other. No, they haven't. I was wondering, because they're stacked like this, rubbing together, I wonder if they would be damaging that side, but they're not. So that's okay. So we'll put that to one side over there. So this is obviously sprue C. Okay. So you can see we've got some detail on there. These are our end walls, which you're not going to see because they're going to be butted up against each other. And then we've got some, there's our gun emplacements there, which are very nicely done. The walls may be a tad thick, but they're very nicely done. And then we've got pipework here. Get rid of the seams on that, it's all going to look gorgeous. And then we've got our guns. They do look like Oerlikons, don't they? I doubt if they would have been 50 cals, not at this late in the war. But you can see there. And then we've got the armour plate there, which I don't know why they didn't make that in photo etch. And then we've got some bollards there. And then we've got all these rectangular blocks. I don't know what they are. More pipes. Absolutely oodles of little bits of detail. I'm wondering if these are lamps. Are these like sort of street light type things? Not sure. But they're very nice. Plastic feels very nice as well. But looks like a nice little kit. I wonder if Plastic Monkey would get one of these. He could stick his Hornet in it. If you have got one of those trumpeter kits with the really dodgy shaped hull, this could be a good way to hide it if you don't want to do waterline. Because that's what I was thinking. Generally with ships, you've got two options: full hull on a stand, or if you want to do a diorama type thing, you need to do it waterline. But with this, you could do it full hull in a diorama. It would be really interesting, wouldn't it? There's a guy on YouTube who's done one. I think it's in 700 scale. I think it's amigraphy. And what he's done is actually sunk it. So this is sunk in the water, and he's got a ship just coming into it. It's beautiful, really, really nice. But that's in 700 scale. So, but it's really, really weird how this kit is so old and yet it's only just got here. So very strange. So here's our, you've got two of these sprues obviously. So here's parts of the crane. You've got the tracks there, or the trucks, sorry, for the crane. Parts of the crane there. So that's all crane. And then these ends or pontoon bits here. I'm not sure if that was steel plating on there or what. You can see there's definitely some sort of detail on there. And you've got these slide moulded cranes, which are very nice indeed. We've got all windows to go in there and everything. There's the front face. So yeah, and the detail on those for 1/350th, it's really nice. Really nice detail. So that's that one. Then here we've got, that weighs a ton. That really is heavy. I think that's why the box has taken such a beating, because even if it's just moving around in a container or something, it's got all this in there, sort of bang, bang, bang. It's really giving the box a hard time. So obviously we've got 10 of these again. So we'll get that out of the way. So here's our D sprue. We can see this is the upper deck of our pontoon, and you can see what I'm talking about here. You got these. This is the floor of these side pieces. You can see there you've got that round section and the pin, and that's going to go over that there and there. With that hexagonal, I wonder if it's designed to sort of just clip on, because as I said, they can lay them down. I need to look into this more, because I'd love to know where all the sleeping quarters and everything were. They had 690 men on here, so we can see on here the tops of the side walls, and this is where I was talking about cutting little bits of corners of the tracks off, where you use that guide to drill a hole. You can see the detail on there is beautiful. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's nice detail. You've got the track there, so it's very nice indeed. That's a good part. I wonder what they did with the cranes if they folded the sides down. How did you get the crane off? What came first, the crane or the crane? But yeah, really, really nice indeed. Very, very crisp, very, very sharp detail. You got the detail here on the sides, and then you can see as it's folded down, this will be your gun emplacements, which you've got there. Look. So yeah. Obviously no detail on the back. Luckily they've broken off all the Z-pins on there, so nothing's all digging into each other. But yeah, like I say, very, very crisp, very, very sharp, flash free. I mean, you can always cut your fingers on those corners. And as you can see, they're designed to sort of come into a butt joint. So they'll be good. And then the final bag, this weighs a ton as well. This is where I've noticed we've got some damage. So you can see that obviously the way these are packed, they're all clattering against each other, and because of the way it goes together with this sort of butt joint into the corners, what's happened is you can kind of see on there there's a bit of damage on that bottom edge there, which doesn't really matter, to be honest. There's injection points there going to have to be sanded off. But I did notice, there we go. You can see that the end of that one's been damaged. So that's just going to take a bit of, bit of filler work or whatever just to repair it. But it's unfortunate, it's where they've been sat like that on top of each other, and you've got this sharp edge going into that thin edge. So if you're buying it from a shop, have a look in the box before you take it. They've got these hexagonal areas in here. That's obviously for you to put a nut in. I didn't notice anywhere on the other sprues there are no caps. I would have thought there would have been a plastic cap to glue over there to hold the nut in, but there aren't any. So what you'll have to do is just put your nut in with some super glue, and then just for safety put a plastic cap over the top, just a disc or something, or even a square piece of plastic card, if you're going to actually have this screwed down onto a base. But you can imagine you're going to have 10 of these, and they've got these pins going in here. Obviously these here, these discs, they're going to go into there, and then they're going to interlock into each other. So you can see how big it's going to be. I mean, there's 3 of them. You're going to stack them up together. So there's 6, and this is an A2 cutting mat here. So you can see it's going to be a nice size model, and you can imagine if you're going to put an Iowa in there, it's going to be a big old lump of plastic. Lots and lots of detail to look at, especially if you've got detail sets on your Iowa as well. And if you're going to put men on it as well in a proper working atmosphere, please send me a photograph. I'd love to see it, because as I say, I'll probably never build this, but it's just something I fancied. Just really fancied it. So maybe I should give it to Kenneth and he put his Missouri in it. Anyway, there we go. So that's very, very nice. Again, we've got some damage on there as well that you can see. There's some damage on there, damage on there. So, but it's nothing. Once that goes on that deck, once you drop that onto there, you can see the deck kind of sits inside on the edge like that. So if we put that damaged one, it's a case of drop a super glue, repair the damage, sand it down, job done. It's nothing, it's not the end of the world at all, guys. But there we are. So a little bit of detail on these. Seam lines there to sand out. Really nice. If you know anything about these, or you know of a good book, please let me know. Or if you know of a good website, I would love to learn more about them, because it's quite a fascinating little subject. I think it's like, you know, it's like picking up your garage and taking it to the other side of the world. It's just fantastic. It's, you know, the planning and the resource the US had was just incredible, wasn't it? So anyway, there we go. That's been a review of the USS ABSD-1 Large Auxiliary Floating Dry Dock. The other thing I need to look at is constructed in 9 sections. There's 10 there. So, in fact, with the M pieces, there's 12. But, yeah, lovely little kit. But as I say, it's not for the beginner, certainly not for the beginner. And if you don't like photo etch, don't go anywhere near it. But, and it does look as though there's no photo etch for photo etch's sake, which you get with some kits. Takom aren't really guilty of that, are they? Although with that bloody their Bismarck Bruno turret is a joke. 72nd scale railings in photo etch is pathetic. They didn't do it on Yamato. They haven't done it on a Kagi, so I don't know why they did it on that. But there we go. Right, very, very nice indeed. And for the ship modeler who wants to do an interesting diorama that's a bit different, thoroughly recommended. Thoroughly recommended. The only thing you're going to need to get yourself is some keel blocks. So I don't know if they use just blocks of wood or if they use steel fabricated structures or what. Again, research, research, research. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you all soon. Oh, by the way, the kit number is 03026006, as you can see there. Okay. And you can hit that QR code to find out more. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye for now.